Coming up on ITV London, a vicious attack on a taxi driver, plus why it's party time for Leyton Orient. Tonight, punched, kicked and dragged out of her car, a vicious attack on a taxi driver. Well, this was moments before Alison Nicely was assaulted by a passenger while driving in Bermondsey, an experience that's left her traumatised.
Do you think you'll get back in the car again, Alison?
I really don't know at this point, and I don't want to give up. I'm a fighting person. I've always worked.
Also ahead, after her ex Stephen Bear was jailed for so-called revenge porn, Georgia Harrison calls for better protection for women and girls online. Plus, rock me, Robert, any way you feel. Hey. Moving on up, why Leyton Orient are celebrating despite losing their last match, and we meet the family reunited with their beloved pet thanks to this show. Good evening. It is Alison Nicely's job to ferry Londoners around safely in her cab, but 2 weeks ago the taxi driver who works for Bolt was subjected to a vicious attack in her car in Bermondsey while she was driving. She was dragged out, punched and kicked by a passenger. Despite pressing an emergency help button, Alison says no help came from her employers for hours. Well, she's now trying to raise awareness of what she says is a lack of protection for London taxi drivers. A warning, this report from Divya Kohli contains footage of the attack.
A shocking and violent attack caught on camera. Alison Nicely was on a night shift for Bolt 2 weeks ago when 3 passengers became abusive. When Alison asked them to leave her car, one of the women becomes aggressive.
One of the passengers punched me in the face. She had the back door open. She refused to close the car door, refused to get out.
Alison's ordeal didn't stop there. She was dragged to the floor where the woman kicked and punched her repeatedly. Alison pressed Bolt's SOS button on her phone, but no one contacted her until hours later. She managed to stop the car outside a pub on the Surrey Docks in Bermondsey, where bouncers were able to help. Alison went back to work over the weekend, but has had to take a step back. After years of carrying thousands of passengers, she feels scared for the first time.
It does stop you in your tracks. Nobody thinks you're going to lose your life at work, but I just know, had it been a couple of hours later and the pub wasn't open, I don't know how far this might have gone, you know, and it just makes me feel sad. Sorry.
Do you think you'll ever get back into a car?
I really don't know at this point, and I don't want to give up. I'm a fighting person. I've always worked, and I don't think someone should have the right to attack me and take this away from me too.
As well as the SOS button failing to help, Bolt offered no compensation after the incident. The IWGB says it doesn't see any driver safety improvements since the death of Gabriel Brignier. He was stabbed to death whilst working as a taxi driver for Bolt 2 years ago.
Alison pressed the button and absolutely nothing happened. 2 hours later, she received an email telling her to call a number. That's no support at all, and it shows you how little Bolt have done since Gabriel died, how little they care about the welfare of drivers.
Bolt says we continue to make significant increases in the size of our safety team. We are focused on permanently removing passengers with consistently poor feedback from drivers. Bolt condemns violence of any form directed towards drivers who have the right to earn a living without risk of harm or intimidation. The woman who attacked Alison was arrested and has now been released, and police investigations continue. Meanwhile, Alison is calling for more support for drivers like her who don't know what the next cab fare may bring. Divya Kohli, ITV News.
Next tonight, the reality TV star Georgia Harrison has joined calls for better protections for women and girls in the government's online safety bill. It's after her former partner, Stephen Bear, was jailed last month for sharing a private video of her on social media. Today, she joined the domestic violence charity Refuge as they campaigned outside Parliament. Carolyn Sim reports.
I stand here today not as a survivor, but as an advocate.
She's experienced firsthand the horror of online abuse. Now, Georgia Harrison's campaigning to prevent it.
Have you got anything to say?
In a landmark case, her ex, Stephen Bear, was jailed last month for posting a video of them having sex online without her permission. It was seen by millions of people. Now she's backing the women's charity Refuge, who want the new online safety bill to include better protection for women and girls.
If you look at me, I'm a prime example of someone that was dramatically let down by social media companies. And when someone like me or other women who are in my inbox try to reach out to them, they ignore us. So the only way for them to ever listen is for the government to make a change.
The bill would make it a legal requirement for online platforms to root out child abuse images and prevent them from being shared. But there's no clause specifically about women.
Now's the time to stop putting onus on victims, potential victims and women and girls, and to start holding social media companies and perpetrators to account.
The Department for Science and Innovation told us the bill makes it a priority for platforms to proactively tackle the most harmful illegal content which disproportionately targets women and girls. This includes revenge and extreme pornography, sex trafficking and harassment. But getting the bill through Parliament won't come without hurdles. Chat app companies like Element say it's not possible to scan messages for illegal content without compromising security and privacy.
Rather than bugging everybody just in case they're being groomed, instead you should make sure that kids know to report that.
But the damage is already being done at that point.
Yes, but that's the nature of society, unfortunately. Just like in real life, you wouldn't give the police carte blanche to crash into your house without a warrant at any point, just in case.
But Refuge insists the bill is an opportunity for the government. But in its current form, they say it's a letdown. Carolyn Sim, ITV News.
The Transport Secretary has told a select committee there could be even more delays to HS2 services into London. Our political correspondent Simon Harris is here. Simon, talk us through this latest development then.
Well, Lucrezia, you'll recall that yesterday HS2 confirmed to us that there was effectively an indefinite delay in building the leg of HS2 from Old Oak Common in West London to Euston Station. That's because the cost of the new Euston has spiralled out of control and inflation is also affecting general construction costs. Well, today, the Transport Secretary, Mark Harper, appeared before MPs and confirmed that the sites at Euston would now be mothballed, although he said they would restart, but there's no fixed timetable for that yet.
The commitment to take HS2 to Euston remains in place, and the timing of that will mean that that is delivered when we have the line open to Manchester. And my understanding from having interrogated officials is that's when the volume of passengers will require the service to go all the way to Euston. So that remains the government's commitment.
I can tell you that TfL and the Mayor disagree with that analysis that Euston won't be needed until the Manchester leg opens. But more importantly, the Manchester leg is not due to open until 2035 at the earliest, possibly 2041. So 18 years away, possibly. If there are further delays, even longer.
Goodness me, that is a long time. Simon, thank you. Next, a coroner has ruled that the death of a doctor from South East London was because of unintended consequences of vaccination following a rare reaction to the AstraZeneca COVID jab. Stephen Wright was 32 years old and was fit and healthy when he died from a blood clot in 2021. His death certificate said he died from natural causes, but his widow Charlotte always believed the complications were caused by the AstraZeneca vaccine he received days before. Well, 2 years later, coroner has confirmed Charlotte was right in what he called a very unusual and deeply tragic case. Rags Martel reports.
Charlotte, you're holding Stephen's picture. What did he mean to you?
What didn't he mean to me? I mean, it was the love of my life. He was my best friend. He was the most amazing husband.
Hi everyone.
Stephen Wright was fit and healthy, a clinical psychologist who worked for the NHS. But in January 2021, he was among the first to be given a COVID-19 vaccine. He died 10 days later. What was the signs that something was wrong?
I think the most kind of significant sign was him awakening on the 25th of January with a very severe headache. And then, of course, the moment that he said that his hand was moving involuntarily, that was the moment that we called for an ambulance.
The father of two was taken to hospital with brain complications, but doctors were unable to save him. This morning, his widow and parents went to his inquest at Southwark Coroner's Court. The coroner described Stephen Wright's case as very unusual and deeply tragic, but went on to rule that he died due to unintended consequences after taking the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
It's quite harrowing to listen to the inquest, but it does feel like it's an acknowledgement. But we still would like acknowledgement from the government and from AstraZeneca. We would like someone to say sorry.
For more than 2 years, the family have had to fight to get this ruling.
In the very beginning, we were made to feel as though we were making it up. We were branded anti-vax immediately, which is not the case. The only reason I wanted to speak out was to save people. I wanted people to be aware that it wasn't 100% safe and effective, as though they were telling the public at the time.
It's obviously tragic that people have lost their lives as a result of the vaccine, but I think for the general population it's so important to know that that's so rare and that the risk is still very low.
In a statement, the Department of Health told us more than 144 million COVID vaccines have been given in England, which has helped the country live with COVID and saved thousands of lives. And AstraZeneca said the benefits of vaccination outweigh the risks of extremely rare potential side effects.
I find it very comforting that I have two boys that remind me of him every day.
Stephen's family say this case is proof that the vaccine isn't safe for everyone. The young doctor was 32. Rags Martal, ITV News, Southwark Crown Court.
Right, next tonight, a 2-0 loss against Gillingham. Sounds like a depressing end to this season for Leyton Orient, but as it turns out, they had much to celebrate. Bradford City's defeat to Swindon means the O's were actually promoted, meaning they'll get to play in League One for the first time in 8 years. Daniel Henry talked to one happy club and, of course, their fans.
Yes! 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 Well, they've only gone and done it. Leyton Orient leaping into League One.
So that's you taking the video?
Yeah, that's my video.
Steve was there.
And it was just an absolutely monumental feeling. It was walking on air. It was a great night. Fan base is back. Fan base is so excited about the future. So, yeah, it's huge. It means everything to us.
Last night's game had everything. There were goals, both scored by the other team. And a sending off for Leyton Orient. But nothing, not even the scoreline, could stop the celebrations at the final whistle. But not everyone in Leyton seemed to notice.
You don't know Leyton Orient?
No.
The club just there?
No.
Yeah, they got promoted to League One.
Yeah, congratulations.
Ask people about Leyton Orient. They've been promoted to League One?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah? You don't watch your local team? So, Leyton Orient just there, they've been promoted?
When?
While others told me this is just the start.
You think they're going to go that far? Premier League, Champions League?
Why not? They started from somewhere and then they have been this far, so what will stop them? This is something that every fan of Leyton Orient or any resident of Leyton need to be proud of.
The first part of our goal has been achieved. Now what we want to do is go on and do our best to actually win League Two now that we've managed to secure promotion. We have planned a celebration event back here at the stadium. It's an opportunity for the fans, the board, the players, the coaching staff, all of the administration staff to come in here and really enjoy themselves.
Well, it looks like the players certainly got the memo. If you fancy cheering them on, Brisbane Road is the place to be at the end of the month to celebrate a special season for the O's. Daniel Henry, ITV News.
I bet there are a few hangovers there. Now, since the swinging 60s, Carnaby Street has been the epicentre of style and culture in the West End, a natural hangout for bands like the Rolling Stones. And all these years later, one member, Ronnie Wood, is still making art there of another kind. He spoke to Max Akhtar.
OK, hustle, bustle, Carnaby Street, arts, culture, music. And this man, Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think you've been inducted twice. Yeah. For your work, Rolling Stone legend. Ronnie, was it so nice to have you here?
It's great to be here, and it's nice to make people aware that there is actually a Stones store on Carnaby Street. Yeah. You found out for today, didn't you?
Listen, I was thinking, because Carnaby Street, I love the Dr. Martens store, I always go in there. I think the hustle and bustle of this area in general is so lovely. Yeah. In the 60s, 70s and 80s, I hear it was even better. What's your memory and how much has it changed?
Well, it was like a competition who could buy the most leery jacket, you know. There was Lord John up there and various different shops. But if you really wanted the subtle stuff, you'd go to King's Road, but, you know, that's another story.
Mm-hmm. Well, I see you like your clothes, looking very good, but let's talk about the
artwork.
Old
cast back from then.
Yeah, well, you just got back from Barcelona, you've got that holiday energy. To have this new collection, it's a pop-up. Everyone's going to get to see it in London for 4 weeks from the 20th, which is this Friday. I know you're the guitar man. I mean, why did you think, yes, I need to do this?
Well, when I do my country walks, especially during the lockdown, I have a place in Ashridge, which is a beautiful forest in Berkhamsted. And while walking through the trees, my music is on my mind and the trees turned into guitars. So I call these guitar scapes.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Nice.
It's beautiful. Art and music has always been a thing for you. And I think sometimes people are like, what? Ronnie does art? But you did both from the beginning, didn't you? You went to college for it before you ended up leaving and pursuing the music. You've also described it as therapy and it really helps you. Tell me why you feel like that.
Well, I think everyone should have a stirring spirit to make them achieve a bit more every day that they can. You know, every time they feel creative, to express it somewhere.
I know you know the King.
I'll be painting the King in my studio. No, we're the same age, you know.
Yeah, okay. I mean, have you been invited? What's the plan?
No, but he's worried about his age, you know. I said, don't worry about it, you know, like, just keep a nice view on life and be happy. And he said, all right then.
Yeah, well, we're going to have street parties and everything for the coronation.
It's going to be beautiful.
What's it going to be like for you guys at home? What are you doing?
Well, I'm going to be enjoying it on behalf of the kids growing up, because I remember when the Queen was her coronation and street parties. It was the first time I had jelly and blancmange.
Jelly and blancmange.
I never forgot it. It was fantastic.
Well, listen, the exhibition is going to be here for the next 4 weeks, and you can check it out on Carnaby Street. While you're here as well, there's a really cute hoodie upstairs. Just mentioning it.
Cool. Top the guitars too. Right.
Yeah, and the guitars too. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Ronnie Wood there. Now, to a story we first featured on the programme last week, the slippery tale of a snake that was found in an alley in Chingford. It was clearly lost, so we put out a missing pet report on the show.
If anyone is missing a snake in their life, this could be theirs. It's been found in Chingford, and it's actually, I think, a snake's go quite cute. It's found by a member of the public. Apparently, it's got a bit of a scratch on it. But anyway, if anyone knows who that snake belongs to, you can get in touch with the National Centre for Reptile Welfare. Put that in your contacts.
Needs to go home. Well, that went, as that went out on air, one family just happened to be listening, setting in motion a chain of events that has led to a very happy ending. I'm delighted to say Sally is at the Wedderburns home in North London. And Sally, there you are with the star of the show, I believe, Midnight, reunited.
I know, oh Lucrezia, I've never held a snake before. I am in love. Look, this is little Midnight. He's so sweet. His little tongue and it tickles. Oh, he's gorgeous. And then with a family as well. It was like the stars aligned for this to happen. First of all, he had to be found on the next door street. Secondly, we did a story on it. And thirdly, the family happened to be watching the news when we talked about it. So can you hold him, Brandon? There we go. And I'm going to pick up the microphone. Oh no, I don't mind him staying on me. So bossy, aren't I? Brandon, now, how did he escape, first of all?
So I went to take him out to play for a little bit. And putting him back, I forgot to put the lock in and he slithered straight out.
You must have been heartbroken, were you?
I was. I found out in the morning I had to go to school as well. I was searching for him everywhere.
Oh, Brandon. But Jane, Brandon's mum, tell us the story of how you found him, just briefly.
Well, so we was at Mum's last week Wednesday. It was her birthday, giving her gifts. And in the background, the news was on.
Yeah.
And then we see you pop up and we saw a picture of a snake. And I said to the kids, wow, that looks like Midnight. Didn't think anything of it. And then later on, you mentioned that it'd been found in Chingford. Well, when you said Chingford, that was it. We literally all jumped out the chair going, oh my gosh, it's Midnight, we can't believe it. Our phones were blowing up, everyone was calling us. And then we contacted the centre, the reptile centre, and spoke to Chris, who we now know, who had him. And then, that he asked for evidence that it was ours. We sent him videos and pictures and everything. And then, we were reunited the following day.
That's amazing. I just love the story. And how was the reunion, Brandon? What was it like?
Honestly, it was surreal. I never thought we'd get him back again.
A year and a half he was missing, wasn't he?
Year and a half, Hold him, knew it was him straight
incredible.
away.
He was found on the next street. And, sorry, I'm blocking him with that microphone. Are you a little bit paranoid now?
Yeah, I have to check that he's in his cage literally every day now, every hour.
And the family is so grateful. You're holding a cake sale, aren't you, to raise money for the National Reptile Welfare Centre?
We'll be doing that on Saturday, and all the proceeds will go to the centre.
Brilliant. Well, I suspect this one won't be eating cakes. He'll stick with mice. Anyway, I'm going to hand him over and go and do the weather. Here we go.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger, and energy.
I managed to grab a coat just in time because although we've got the glorious sunshine, it's cool out here in the breeze. And forgive my flyaway hair, it's got a mind of its own in that breeze. No hair problems for Philip the fox, sniffing out the sunshine, looking gorgeous. Now, as we go through to tomorrow, the day sort of works in reverse weather-wise. We've got the best of the sunshine in the morning and middle part of the day, with cloud moving in from the east and some rain later on as well. Still got that cool breeze, and it's going to get more unsettled as we head into Friday. But if we look at the detail for tonight, gorgeous blue skies, a fabulous end to the day. Sunset not until 8 o'clock, so still a little bit more to come. Those clear skies overnight will mean the temperatures drop down, but because we've got the breeze, that should prevent us getting a frost. Nevertheless, it will still be quite cool as Thursday gets going. A chilly but wonderful start to the day. All being well, more blue sky, more gorgeous spring sunshine. We have got that breeze again, as I said, so that's just taking the edge off things. And into the afternoon from the east, you can see that cloud starting to move in, and maybe a few showers knocking on the door as well. Temperatures best in the west, cooler in the east, and of course cooler in the shade and in the breeze too. As we head into the evening, that cloud makes its way from east to west, bringing those showers with it, so quite a different end to the day compared to the beginning of it, unfortunately. And as we head into Friday, things stay changeable. Worth keeping an eye on the forecast. There's some rain around, maybe even a bit of thunder. In fact, there might even be a bit of thunder tomorrow night. There's quite a bit of uncertainty. As we move into the Saturday, at the moment that looks drier. There could be a shower here or there. It also looks milder as well before those temperatures come down as we head into the start of next week. Right, that's it from us all here in gorgeous Snaky Lakey. We'll see you later on. Cheerio.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
Thanks, Sally. And that is it from us. Mary is back at 6:30 with the ITV Evening News. But from all of us on the London team, bye-bye. Have a great evening.